Welcome to Started Frame 1, episode number 18 already. And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome on this Friday to Started Frame 1 today. Very excited. Was looking forward to the stream today, as this is my happy place where I finally can take the time off and draw within all that busy days lately. So I'm here, you are here, welcome. Thanks for your time. Music you were listening was from Bolz and Knecht, a duo from Germany. Check out their homepage if you're interested in their music. Thanks a lot for providing that song for us. And we gonna jump in to KRITA. KRITA's gonna be. And I'm just think I have to focus. Now you have my focus tracker in the face. I have no idea how I can get rid of that thing. But yeah, I hope it's gonna go away. Anyways, I'm just down here, so. All right. So, what are we gonna do today? I have no idea. Last time there was no plan at all for the stream, and we started with a warm-up and ended up with a character design, which I'm gonna show you right here. This is what we done. Well, not exactly the whole thing what we done last time. I think we left it here. I just continued like 5 minutes afterwards. I wanted to test something, and it went more or less like it was kind of an accident. When I put in those stripes, as there was no actually, well, those stripes are throughout the whole plane here. So what you see here, so it breaks the illustration somehow, but I really like it, how it looks more graphical, it looks a little bit more stylized, and it's more artsy, I would say. I don't know. When it happened, I just got a little bit shocked and thought I broke something here, but then I understood what's happening, and then as I understood what is happening, I was able to start liking it. I'm still not really. I don't think it's finished yet. The illustration on its own, yes, it is, but I think I'm gonna go a little bit more into a process where I would like to experiment a little bit more with typography on that. When I extended the canvas, it was before we were just working on the plane that you see here on with the red rose, the red pink color. Then I extended the canvas, and there were still halftone patterns that we used in the illustration, as you can see here on the jacket, and they were outside of this plane, so I really liked that. It got some kind of a collage look to me, a little bit. Yeah, I don't know where this is going. I may want to do some more research, like style-wise, where I get a little bit more of references on what I have in my mind that I would like to achieve here. The only thing that comes to mind right now is David Carson and break everything, like do a layout and then break everything, play around with typography and different wordings, maybe put in the name of it. We decided, well, the process of the illustration was with different references, as we were looking for a mustache for this character. Then after the mustache, we were looking for a crazy hair, which turned out to be that mullet. And that mullet actually was inspired by a photo that I saw from the Netflix series Tiger King. I've never seen it. I heard a lot about it. And I don't know, then suddenly I think the Sergeant Pepper Lonely Hearts Club cover was a great inspiration with the jacket. It went some kind into a direction where this seemed like some kind of a circus director. Then his head suddenly shifted towards more a Uncle Sam direction, where I finally settled as well with a basic idea of colors. And yeah, that's more or less the process of this illustration so far. As I said, I'm not seeing this as a finished piece, but super happy what we've done last time in 3 hours. And I would like to start off as well again with a warm-up, which mostly is, well, is where I feel most comfortable with, and that's why I always go to it, especially to warm up, and is character design. Doing heads like this kind of cropping to see the upper body. And mostly why I do this is I feel comfortable here with the anatomy of a body and the face. I think I got that figured out with experience. As I said in previous streams, I'm already working on my skills when it comes to hands, drawing hands. But I still have a long way to go when it comes to anatomy. So I will be able to draw this kind of style for a whole character. So yeah, that's probably why I want to start at least with a a drawing or a technique that I'm comfortable with, that I'm familiar with, and then we can later on see how far off the known realms of my skills we how far we gonna get off and try something new, as we've done in other episodes, as we did the kickflip, as we did the facial expression. That was the last kind of a series we did. These were all completely new topics that I've never done before, but I suppose once you understand, and I would say I understand the animation principles, then you can easily apply them to different kind of animations, whether it's character design or shapes that you are animating. No, sorry, not character design, character animation, or whether it's shapes that you want to animate. The principles are mostly the same, but well, for example, with the kickflip, we had quite a challenge to find the poses. Even more with the expressions, we had a harder time to find actually the expression that I wanted to go for. So what's going on in the face was quite a unknown thing to me, as most of my characters, when they go into animation, they are quite reduced to maybe some dots for an eye, or maybe they have a face. At least if they move them, it's basically just a blinking. So the last time we tried to see how this can be pushed a little bit further, and the result is pretty cool, I think, as well, at least. And those kind of characters, the more we have, the more we can choose afterwards if we do animation with them. Or today we could go into a more straightforward animation technique, sorry, which is basically we could start with that drawing and see where we go directly from here on with the animation. Normally, when you do frame by frame animation, you want to pin down your movements to specific key poses, and then you figure out the way how to come from pose A to pose B to pose C. So you already have some kind of a layout, what your movement will look like. But when you do straightforward animation, you basically go wild, and each, at least it seems to me when I do it, each drawing inspires you and automatically tells you which way to go, which way your animation will go. So let's see if this could already be some kind of a, and I'd rather do a more basic shape when it comes to straightforward animation, because just to let's maybe open our last animation where we did the facial expressions. When we designed the character, it started off as just right now, we started to create a character, not really with any plans how the character's gonna move, what he's gonna do. So we developed the character in order to make it look appealing, and we ended up with this design. And as you see, like, frame by frame animation requires various passes when you clean up your animation. What that means is you have to draw every detail you want to add in the render or in the style. You have to draw this for each drawing. You have to put in this detail. So here, for example, to split it up, we have our outline, simple outline, right? The blue outline. So next step was to bring in those hard shadows here, which you as well the same color as our outline, the blues. This is an additional pass, as we're gonna go through every drawing and edit these hard shadows. So it's an additional step in your work process, which takes time, takes effort, and makes the whole process a little bit more tedious. So now you see we have the blue shadows everywhere. Play the animation. Once we added the blue shadows, we added a halftone pattern, which is basically just, I like halftone patterns and it gives me a certain style that I like. And so you have to add these halftone patterns that you see here, the hair, the eyebrows, and the mustache. You have to add them in every drawing where those elements change, right? So here again, I had to put it in. Here again, I had to put it in. And so on, because every drawing needs this pass, so you have a consistent animation. After that, we put in those highlights that you see here, those white lines, which just makes it pop a little bit more. And finally, we added in like very subtle, I think it's not even really there when you look at the animation, but it's those red lines which more or less emulate kind of a soft shadow additionally to the dark areas of blue, or not actually that dark, but that full bold areas of blue that represent the hard shadow. So each one of those elements requires an additional step in your cleanup process, which makes the whole thing more complex. So let's see. I feel, although I thought I'm gonna do ahead with it, but I'm already feeling maybe this could be a, I don't know if it's a, maybe it could be a cool character already, like a very simple character with only geometric shapes. And I want to do this just to make sure we're gonna progress within the, like, we're gonna progress a little bit faster and not make it too complex. because when we animate, as I said, like complexity means more work. More work needs more time. And maybe it's in the interest of all of us who want to see more and different kind of stuff. I would like to experiment with all kind of stuff. So I don't want to get stuck with one animation for too long. When I say too long, I'm talking about not too long would be around 2 weeks, as it's the streaming is only every other day, so I won't be working on it every day. But I think like a good thing to do would be like going every week to a new topic and a new challenge. I don't know what I felt like this could be some kind of a shoulder. And here would be the neck. So I'm just trying to experiment here. So, and I want to try in very roughly. Want to make sure I get great dynamic arcs. So the whole thing is dynamic, and normally within the time, I hope, we're gonna see something. Maybe we have the arm here. It's already getting too complex. We're gonna need some arms. And I don't know, I feel like I want to get some more skinnier arms, as everything here looks quite bulky and big. Maybe we're gonna break this a little bit by Hey Jack, how are you doing? I'm glad you made it. I don't know if you have if you already have seen the I showed the work that we did last time. I'm really good. Thanks a lot. I was looking forward for today and see what we can do today. If it's gonna be a character design or if we gonna get some animation done. I'm not sure yet. I look what happened to our illustration from last time. When we finished this stream. Oh, all right. I'm gonna check it out afterwards. Your rough animation for the 11-second challenge. Nice. So I don't know. I don't want to do a robot. It seems like a robot to me. Maybe we have to get some organic stuff. I don't know. This looks like some skull. Sure, man. Send a link. Why not? Oh, I don't know how this is working, but I think let me see. I think I got now the Discord thing going. And I don't know. I just invite your friends. Invite link. So I'm gonna invite all of you, as you are all my friends, and maybe we can discover together, or you can explain to me what we're supposed to do. I joined a few Discord groups, but it's a mess. It feels like it's a mess if they're too big. So I don't know what to make out of it, but I'm all in, and happy to find out how we gonna use it the best way. So let's see. I like this scully thing. Maybe we want to keep it a little bit skinnier. Not giving him this huge neck. Your question, what are we drawing today? I have no idea. Do you have a suggestion? Like the last time was pretty much fun to find those references online and see what to make out of it. I like that. I wanted to prepare a certain clip. Maybe that's gonna be in a future episode, but I was watching The Big Lebowski the other day, and holy moly, what a great movie. I haven't seen it for a long time. And there is this, I suppose there are a few people out there that are familiar with the movie. Yeah, and there's this scene where they're in the bowling alley, and their future opponent in the tournament, which is this Gitano, Jesus, he comes to them and tells them that he's fucked up because they want to move the game, as Walter is not able to bowl on Sabbath. So he he tells them basically to fuck off, and he does this weirdest movement where he just moves his hip like, and but with a scream, like just doing this woo, and the movement is so amazing. He has such a, as if it was animated, he has such a amazing pass through movement, the whole body. And I thought, wow, that is a great, like, real time real life reference, and that you could probably use one on one in animation, as it's such a unnatural movement he's doing, as it was basically supposed to look like, as it was animated. I don't know. Sure, man. I'll be here at least until 4 o'clock. So make whatever you have to do, and I hope to see you later. If not, have a great weekend, man. So yeah, that scene is definitely gonna show up at some point in the stream here, and I get lost. I lose that part because it seems I'm too influenced and gonna finish up with some anatomy stuff, and that's one thing I feel like the more I know about anatomy, the more difficult it gets to keep it actually out of my drawings. All right. So what I mean with that is, what if we just put in the legs already here? Like this is his body. So maybe we can keep it this simple and see where And if you saw earlier streams, we started off with with a illustration. I did a character which we called Tentacle Boy during the throughout the stream, and right now I'm so tempted to do another tentacle as I just want to avoid hands. But let's not do it. Let's force us to confront our fears. So yeah, that's a thing I definitely want to improve. It's hands, feet as well. Feet are also sometimes very tricky. Shoes as well, as I'm drawing them right now. And that's why I always start off warming up with heads, because with heads I feel like there's no, like with everything you're not really comfortable with drawing, there's a certain amount of anxiety feels. And when I draw heads, it's I don't get that feeling, which tells me that I'm already controlling it at least to that amount that I need to get my ideas on paper, on the screen. With feet and hands, it's a little bit more work to actually get it right. When I draw, for example, the feet, I figured it looks quite alright when I do here a straight line and then break this line when it comes towards the toes. But this, and there's some curve in here. Yeah. Oh, I see. Let's put him, let's give him some, I don't know if it feels to me the head, it looks like a little bit like those characters from the 50s, and like Mickey Mouse head, and they always, I don't know why, put those cloths on, and I really like them. So, well, I could fit the design. Let me get your here. So that is a little bit too low. Let's get that a little bit higher. Hand looks smaller on that side, but I actually like it better. So let's try to make it a little bit. So okay, one thing I learned at least until now, the hands, like you never want to get your fingers straight out, like not, you don't want to have a hand that is like this, because it looks weird, because you're never doing this. So you break the pattern here. That's one thing that helped me to get a little bit better at the hands, to make it more. And by stylizing the hand as we do right now, we also can cheat our way around the fact that anatomy knowledge of the hand is still rudimentary. I mean, I have knowledge about the anatomy. I know about the arcs in the knuckles and all that, but still struggling to get it on paper. So now it's basically the practice that I have to put in, and yeah. Gonna bring in some shadows to give it more depth. And I said, like before, we want to keep the character simple, so there's not too much detail to animate. But well, there are really great illustrators that do with so simple shapes, pretty appealing characters. I suppose it's a question of experience or your own style. So I don't know, but I want at least a few shadows to make the character a little bit, let it pop out a little bit more. And that's probably just a personal preference. I don't see no problem in it. So now we're gonna bring the shoes a little bit more cartoony style, which maybe, let's see. Okay. Let me get a drink here. Okay. All right. So now what? And I want to distinguish with, like, this character is supposedly not being animated as he stands here in front of us, because first of all, the pose is not really dynamic. Or we could animate him standing there and just waving with his arms. I don't see no problem here. See, let's clean it a little bit up. to get a better idea of what we actually have here. And as I said in previous episodes, like I rather erase the stuff that I've drew so far, which always gives me a little bit of a, like, I lighten up the lines that I did before. I don't erase them completely. And I feel that this is a good way to always see what you had before that you don't want to have. And when you really want to get into the cleanup process, you can always just add a new layer. I don't know, it feels more organic to me to do it this way, but as well, only maybe a preference. So let's give him some hollow eyes. I like the skull. I'm not a really big fan of all the rest though. So let's continue work on that. Let's see. Okay. Not really sure if how we want the arms to be attached like this organically, or if they just come out of some kind of a kind of a sleeve. That looks nice. Again, that is already considered for me as a detail. Instead of this, now we have to animate this and always have to take care of perspective of this additional element. So be aware of that and be conscious that those decisions will affect the the workload in your animation. I'm drawing those, just those are more or less like guideline lines, so I get a better understanding of the shape, which is also very helpful afterwards for animating, so you can always determine where the neck, for example, is attached here. So let's make this a rounder shape. We have it's not really a sphere here. Let's try to get more of a sphere. So here as well, you can again apply afterwards the principles, the animation principles of a bouncing ball. That's what we said before, like bouncing balls are a super good practice for frame by frame animation. I'm gonna get rid of the legs. I'm still not convinced. Yeah, the bouncing ball principle is afterwards really can be applied to all kind of animation. As you can, at least I always think in geometric volumes. I break down everything I have to animate into geometric volumes to get a better understanding how perspective works and how they move in space. And then on top of those geometric elements, you put your more and more details. And with time, you don't need to draw those geometric elements anymore, as it happens already in your head how you think about animation. A lot of times I think I already figured it out, so I can just animate it and don't go this basic. So I don't start off with geometric shapes, and I already put a lot of details on top of it. And then suddenly I figured it's not really working, the animation. So when I reach that point, I have to get back and start again and really analyze the geometric shapes. Sometimes do over the animation, start again with geometric shapes, and then build on top of it. And with the practice, you probably can reduce those breakdown steps. And that's the same with drawing for me. That's why I really like this rough drawing style, and then bit by bit erasing lines that I don't want to have in my final render, and then just refine the whole drawing bit by bit. But everything starts off with geometric shapes. So here again, I'm drawn towards those details that are gonna be later a pain to animate. But well, this is a personal choice, right? And sometimes I wish like I could, like those very basic characters came more natural to me. So a lot of animations I did so far would have been way easier to finish. But instead I have a lot of details. Well, not even a lot. Like my characters are still very, very stylized, but as I said before, all these different passes you have to go through if you decide to put in those kind of details. And here as well, like I changed the shape of the head. Now it's way more complex, which may give me a headache later on when animating it. Like it comes to perspective, like if a sphere doesn't change its form when it's in perspective, well, at least not that much. Here I already have different kind of elements that will come out in the silhouette once the head turns, for example. The silhouette of the shape will change, and so on and so on. So as well, be aware of those decisions. I'm aware, and that my future me will probably hate me for those decisions, as the future me is gonna have to do the cleanup, not me. So I think I would do another walk cycle with this character, and I feel like there could be some space for. Now I deliberately put in more details that will later on help me to create a secondary animation. What a secondary animation is, let me see. So here I'm drawing this tie, and I draw in the tie already imagining him like the tie is gonna be the secondary animation. What that means is it's gonna move separately from the head, as it is this tingly element here that gonna have his kind of own life because of physics when he starts to walk. Now, what would be an unnecessary detail and horrible to animate, but I put it in. I'm sabotaging myself here. So it would be this. To my liking, way more interesting. So it's kind of a detail in here. But definitely gonna be a pain to animate. And let's just continue. Let's deal. Let our future us deal with this horrible choices. But for me, like, those details will give it a better understanding. And then suddenly I get more ideas and more ideas. Like, the more. So I'm now with the tie and the kind of a shirt. He's like a 9-to-5er. I want to get the shoes now a little bit more. No, not what I want. So now I'm imagining why do we could animate a run cycle. So we could design some kind of a see. Okay. So maybe this is kind of a, I don't know how you call them, treadmill? No, treadmill is another thing. Like this is just like a running. Not really sure how they called, like those fitness devices, right? To go for a and I don't know. Let's do some very profound critique here on our so could be, I don't know, like now you see I don't come up with a message that I want to deliver. This would be kind of design, so that's why I consider this things we are doing right here more as art, as art doesn't want to solve problems. That's basically reserved for design, and art can do whatever art wants to do, I suppose. So I just go with the flow here, whatever comes to mind. And as I put on the tie, which was basically just the idea to get an element that gives me secondary animation. There came the shirt in. With the shirt, there came the idea of a, well, Like the... Sorry, I'm thinking already ahead what to do. Sometimes it's difficult to draw, think, and talk at the same time. So yeah, he could try to reach this money. Let's see how a hand would look like that wants to grab this money. Jack is back in the house. Whoa. So we get rid of the hand down here. And I don't know if we will have to get him a little bit further down. Giving it a little bit more space between our character and the dollar bill. So we have a little bit better perspective on the hand. Because I also want to see how the silhouette will work out, especially like this hand is quite easily recognized. It's quite recognizable as it sticks out. But what about this hand? Where will this hand be? Where will this hand live? Let's don't want to get our heads. Like that was basically the first thing that I started to like. It's turning into real artist, yeah, bit by bit. We were talking exactly. It's art, as I just explained. Like I don't have any initial thought on any idea that I have to some kind of resolve and bring it to paper. That will be design in my understanding. So this just evolves within the process, and sometimes I feel like this is what art is, and I always have a hard time with all those interpretations of what the artist meant with that. And sometimes I feel if he really wanted us to know what he meant by doing it, he would just tell us, right? Exactly. That is a great way to put it live, as you don't have any idea what to get out of this. you just see along the way. I love that. Yeah, pretty nice. So is this? So now this is just, let's see, like this arm seems way too long. That's the thing. Check, you get it. No, but to be honest, like it started to explain a little bit my thoughts here. Actually started off with the tie when you were away, and I basically just wanted to have a an element that will allow me to get in easily some secondary animation and secondary movement. And with the tie there came the shirt, and with the shirt it felt like this is our working man, like the backbone of our economy. And now we just went deeper and actually shedding a critical light on that. I loved it. That was the only thing that I really liked about the first draft. That was the head. And I totally agree with you. And I think if it wouldn't have been for the head, this character, we would already been in some other stuff. So now this arm seems now as he tries to actually, oh sorry, as he actually tries to grab the dollar, it's way too far behind. So this is evolving quite a bit, and just to I'm gonna duplicate this layer and just do some kind of a, I don't know if I have to copy paste, if there's duplication, doesn't matter. Because I'm not really sure if I want to go the... Now I changed my color. No. Okay. So no, let's not do it like this. We're gonna erase again. No. So it would probably be more like around here, I suppose. Trying to find those guidelines to help me later. It's difficult now because actually now it's supposedly a distorted sphere, I suppose. Now we just plug in those arms and not on the side, so we just keep like the sphere is the sphere as it was, right? So here's yeah, I definitely want to get this right, because if I don't get those lines in the right position, I think it's gonna be trouble later on with the whole perspective. And now you see what I mean. I'm actually deleting quite a lot of elements that I not want to delete, but as I'm just erasing and not really permanent or completely getting rid of them, I'm gonna be able to draw them back in once I positioned, for example, this arm. And maybe let's try the arm around here. So, which now works fine with, like, I'm here, we with the pose here we had the hand quite overlapping with the tie, which I don't want to lose too much of, because the actual idea of the tie was to use it for secondary animation, and if I don't see the tie, well, what good is it? So and to make sure I see it, like I now have to tweak my pose and think about the silhouette. Always think about how the silhouette reads. Is the actually pose readable in the silhouette? And if it is, you're probably on a good way. Oh, those darn hands. So let's get rid of the hand down here. Now I go a little bit more thorough. Now this line I just want to keep. I definitely would like to animate him, and I would love to do a run cycle. To be honest, I've never did a run cycle. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we don't do a run cycle animation today, as I'm not seeing that much of progress for now. But I definitely want to look into this and do my first run cycle ever. I'm pretty, I suppose, like knowing the different poses of a walk cycle will definitely be helpful. I imagine timing will be way different, and spacing could also be a different thing. Yeah, I would love to see the run cycle just running for the money, and there we have it. That would be a great next project on the stream, and it was pretty cool today. I was posting a little bit of a self promotion on Instagram, just to make sure people that would be interested in the stream know that I'm gonna be streaming today. And so I thought, now as we start to do something new today, would be fun to show a little bit what we've done so far. And I'm really happy with what came out so far from this streaming, and that's why we are still here. I think if I wouldn't be enjoying that, I'm sure I would have canceled it already. So this is not looking good. Let's see. I'm pretty sure the hand has to be on a different position, but now I'm just continue drawing it on the position where it's right at, and then probably gonna move it up. And I'm really looking to, like, this hand is a little bit further away from us, so therefore it would be smaller than the one in the front, and now this is not the case. So and maybe perspective wise, will look more towards us, this hand. So let's tweak the perspective a little bit. Uh, Now we're getting somewhere. I start seeing it. I love that when you just try to get your idea on paper, but you're very loose and your lines are just coming together on the paper, and then suddenly you see like, all right, that's it. That's the way you go to go, and then you can build on it. And so let's keep it away from, I don't want him to overlap with the head, and if that means like we have to bring this hand a little bit further, so it is. No, I don't want to overlap them too early. Maybe we can bring down. Oh, thanks a lot, Jack. I'm really enjoying it, and it has been absolutely beneficial as well when it comes to learning for me, which was, I think, from the beginning one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to stream it. Would love to see this grow, and really thankful that you joined so many times, basically all the time, which is awesome. So really appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Okay, that seems to work. Feel like here's still something not right. Oh, I like that. This looks like some kind of a sleeve. Why not push this even? It has a function of a sleeve, but it looks more like this. I don't know how to go. This is more like it. Yeah, that could be good. I like that. All right. So what would be the best pose for run cycle if it was not an animation? I think it would be having him in the air with his feet stretched out, I suppose. So I would say now they're both like beneath the body, but I would say they spread out already from the point where they attach to the body. Well, let's see. And I wanted like to be those. I don't know. I think this style is called more like a rubber hose. And it's really funny because sometimes I don't know if you ever had this sensation, but rubber hose, I never really looked at the word and analyzing what it actually meant. Rubber hose. A hose is like a water hose, isn't it? Like yeah, Cool Teeth is on YouTube. Hello, my friend. Glad you did it. You made it again. So a rubber hose is, yeah, where to get your water, right? The hose. All right, so that makes sense. That's why this kind of style is a rubber hose, because there are no joints in it. So, but the weirdest thing is, the first time I heard about rubber hose and saw what it, I don't know, and then I saw those legs, and it doesn't make any sense, but I'm native German, and so hose is written like Hose in German, which is the trousers. And somehow I always I had no specific trousers in my head, but somehow I always felt like this came from the trousers. I don't know. The same happened with me in Spanish with soap. And because it is, and I think I always thought about the English word for soap when I used it in Spanish. So I said sopa for soap. But sopa is soup. Gummischlauch. Yes. So I was always talking about uh, asking if somebody, did you wash your hands with sopa, and people were just not really getting what I meant when I asked them if they washed their hands with soup. So those are those weird exactly. You wash your hands with soup as well. So yeah, sometimes you get those weird confusions within language. With the rubber hose, it was basically never expressed, but it was an internal thinking process. So that looks great. Why not having him have his all the legs? Okay, now I get. No, I don't get rid of it. Let's keep the technique alive. Just erasing stuff the old school way with an eraser. No fancy selection delete. Okay, now how is this looking? Falsche Freunde? Is it, you have to explain that, Jack, because I have heard about the expression falscher Freund, and the context where I heard it as a apparently common term for medics for now this stream today is going downhill quite fast if I continue on elaborating what I heard, that falsche Freunde, which is basically false friends. A false friend is also used for in the medics term. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but I could elaborate on that, but I'm not really sure if this is the place, neither the time during day. This is more like a night topic, I suppose. Oh, really? Okay, Jack says he heard it's used to refer to when Germans use the wrong English word, falsche Freunde. Okay, that's interesting. That may be, yes. What? Okay, now I'm elaborating on it. What I heard about where fal I'm gonna keep it in English, like false friend is used as well in the realm of medicine, doctors, is the apparently common mistake to think you're just how to put that. Let me get a moment here to not make it too bizarre. Well, it's basically when you have gases, but you think it will only be gases. And then suddenly you think it's a friendly process here. And then there comes a false friend, if you know what I mean. And that is apparently how medics refer to that accident as false friends. So now let's process that, and then maybe we continue with another topic. Well, you can say it's art related because there have been, I don't know what the name of the artist, but back then when I was in school, they told us about, I don't know, is it called Dadaism or Dadaism, which also brought artists to life that sold their pieces in tin cans. So art. All right, I'm gonna switch topics here. So we could bring in those kind of. It would help. It will help to define the perspective definitely here. And on this side, it's gonna be like so. So. Mm. But then he seems like with those things, I don't know, it takes away a little bit of his. I'm gonna try to taper the legs, but I taper them towards the upper side. Kind of like that. Yeah, I figured the tapering towards the upper part of the leg is a great way. I just recently had to do a character for client work, which I'm not able to share, at least not yet. And it was a female character, but well, it's always with characters, it's always tricky. You don't want to go too much into genders, ethnics, at least not if the project specifically requires it, and because depending on the client, that can actually open a door of hundreds and thousands of feedback rounds. So it was a female character, and I figured I'd get out the sexiness of the character by tapering the legs or widen the legs on the ankle and tapering them down when they contact where they attach to the body, and that helps a lot. And I like the style. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm already thinking in the animation, I'm probably not gonna need to animate the hands too much. I wanna probably see The the fingers bounce a little bit. So when he hits, like they go some kind like that, as they are quite, they're not really tense, they're more relaxed. So that helps in the animation as we don't have to change any perspective on them. And I think that the solution to have them, those hands stretched out towards the front, also reduces the amount of images we're gonna have to animate to get a complete loop. Because when you do a normal walk cycle from the side or from wherever, he is a complicated bouncy ball. Yeah, that's what we were talking the other day. Like, isn't life a bouncy ball? Yeah. So again, you can see here how basic bouncy ball practice may help you out for more complex animations as well. So I don't know. Let's stylize this treadmill a little bit. Put in more. No idea. I haven't been on a treadmill for quite a while. And it's just because of the current situation. It's not very healthy to go to the gym right now. So probably also want to refine that because perspective doesn't seem. I use more and more these kind of guidelines here as you see them here. I didn't do that too much earlier. Well, because I always felt like, oh my god, I don't need that kind of. Like I definitely see where the line is going on the other side, so I don't need that. But I need them. I think there's no shame in this. And I think afterwards, this is, and I think it changed a lot when I saw like how professional illustrators, well, professional illustrators, I would consider myself as a professional illustrator as I can make a living out of, but those guys who work at Marvel or whatever, like they really get your perspective right and draw in your horizon and your the points that you need for your 2 point perspective, 1 point perspective, and from there on really help get first of all get a grid and then draw on top of that grid. It's just so much more easy and so much more relaxing, and you can concentrate and enjoy way more the actual drawing process. So now what is going on here? It's not really aligned. So yeah, the tip, that one would definitely bounce. The tie. If this was an illustration, I would definitely already put in the movement here or make it more wavy to make sure it's not like just hanging down as. But I first want to animate the whole run cycle and then actually see ruler time. Ruler time. I don't know. It doesn't feel. To me it feels like cheating. But yeah, to actually get your perspective right, I suppose it's I saw pretty cool rulers, especially for perspective. I suppose it's like more architecture tools. I don't know. Yeah, but they're like the artist David Finch that I mentioned on other episodes that I'm following, and you can see a video of his on my tutorial playlist. He's explaining how to draw hands. I think he shows the process when it comes to grids for perspective. It's not cheating. Yeah, I know, but I also try always to avoid, and when I draw with Procreate, to do the automatic smoothing, or I don't know how you call it, when you just draw a line and you stay still for a while and then he makes a perfect line or perfect geometric shape. And again, it depends what kind of style you try to achieve. If you really want to go with a more geometric or more graphic style and you actually prefer doing it by hand or drawing instead of doing it with Illustrator or whatever, where you have circular tools or rectangle tools, then I totally get it. I don't judge or whatever, but I personally so let's get in. And I feel like this is an element we could actually use throughout the whole animation without not even having to redraw it. We can put in some details in here, like a pen. So, because that won't be affected by the animation, I suppose. Maybe I'm wrong and I'll see it later on. So, do we want something like this? Also helps to establish perspective, this element. Just by overlapping this line, you understand that the direction. So I think that's, well, then I don't know. Do we like it? And I think we need a neck for this shirt. If not, it looks just, oh no. I think I like it better without this. For the arms, I think it's alright, but here, I think without it we can see a little bit better the tapering. Okay. Probably can. Yeah, let's make it like this so it's clearer what. I think it was already quite clear what this is, but never know. And I'm definitely would animate this part of the animation in After Effects, because what you would basically see is those lines moving. And I don't know if this is necessary. Well, we see. Here is already, there are few things where I think like the whole infrastructure of Adobe Animate could be very helpful when it comes to symbols and loops within those symbols that could allow us to only to animate separate elements like this belt here moving constantly. I don't know if there is such an option. I don't think so. Okay. Do we want some more elements? I think the machine, the treadmill, needs maybe some more details, especially in the parts that are not animated. Well, that looks like a decent character already in pose for further animation experimentations. Well, look at that. Well, we did it again. We did quite a good job here. We could. I'm just thinking, I would like to do a cleanup already to define the style, how it's gonna look. As really to animate this guy, I would want to look up the principles of a run cycle in the animator's Bible, the animator's survival kit. So now I just think if I clean that up, I want it to be already like a post that I actually will use. And I think I can use it this exactly how it is right now. I'm just not really sure what to make of the tie and where the tie, how the tie would be moving at that point if he was already running. So I suppose this would be like the highest point of our run cycle. And on the highest point, normally it would drag down. It would still drag behind as he comes from down here, jumping up. So the tie is dragging behind and it should be straight. And then when he comes down, actually the tie will start to lift up. So maybe we don't want to make it that stiff as it is right now. Maybe there is a little bit of a, you feel a little bit of the elasticity. Is that a word? Elasticity? Elasticness? Not. Flexibility could be, right? But let's see if we just put in a little arc to make it more dynamic. Would that already help us out? You love the knobby knees? Great. Let's see. Well, at least now now it looks a little bit more in motion here, the tie. So I think we could, yeah, we could do already a cleanup. Let's define first again our hard shapes, our hard shadows maybe. See how this is working. So those will probably cast shadows here. Those definitely. As I imagine again, like the sun comes, or light comes from up here. Okay. So the hand will cast a shadow on the arm here. And the tie will, as this is a round shape, will allow the shadow gonna drift off here. Not really sure how we gonna tackle this shadow here, down here, as not really. Because if it actually would be hard light or very strong sunlight or whatever, like I suppose the shadow would go from here, and then this is the sleeve, and then already get into the arm, as this whole volume would cast shadow. But I think I don't want to go there. This don't like it. Okay, maybe we want to fill out here those, as it's not hollow, or it is hollow, but you cannot see through the head here. So here would also be shadow, maybe here a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right. Now it comes. The spooky, spooky color part. I'm just wondering if I want to have this dangle down from here. I don't like the idea to have it. Like, I would like to keep the illustration within the frame and not suggesting any element that comes from outside. It's just, I don't know. I feel more flexible if I do it like that, and then I can move it around, and maybe like the donkey that chases the carrot would be like some kind of a no. Mhm. Now that would make as well a great secondary animation, as now it's attached to the body and therefore would bounce as well. That could be interesting. So I like the concept. I don't like the execution yet, so I'm not really sure where this is coming from and how it's coming. So now I feel like the perspective feels all right. And more art here. So do we want to keep it like that? Now I feel I have to explain how this is attached to his body. We could put on some duct tape here, but I don't know if this is actually understandable. So maybe we want to have it. All right. Okay, we're still not done. You see the illustration is evolving and evolving. So we could, to make it stick out a little bit, whatever this is supposed to be, I have no idea, but we could, I like the duct tape here. Maybe we can even also like the idea of a duct tape, as this is normally a kind of a quite reflecting element, so we can bring in pretty nice highlights here and kind of a specular light on that one. Right now this is not really notably the continuation of the tape here, but I think with color it would be more clear that the part that you see here is also like this, and that is the same material. Now, what do we make out of this? If this, like, just this cylinder makes sense. I just needed to make it a little bit bigger. The how do you call it? Fishing cane, or how is that called? I don't think it's called fishing cane, isn't it? But oh, we haven't saved yet. Well, that is good to know. KRITA, thanks for being such a stable software, actually. I already regretted to have said this, and this is normally when everything goes southways. Okay, yeah, I suppose we leave it like this. If there are no, is anybody bothered by this shape? Whatever it's supposed to be, I don't know. And yeah, I definitely like this solution. So the the money is not coming from outside the frame and is attached to the body, and therefore is gonna bounce counterwise to the body. So whenever the body goes up, this will go down, and vice versa, and it's gonna give it definitely another cool element. All right. Should we? Are there any other things that we want to tweak or fill here? This part of the hand is also don't touch the hands, don't touch the hands. Kind of feel we have to touch the hands. Oh yeah, that makes it way more appealing. This little adjustment, not to only do one line, but letting those lines overlap each other, that's cool. Probably want to do this here as well. This, I'm not sure. If I, this probably, yeah, the continuation of this line, I suppose. Yeah, that's good. We don't want to close this one completely, but don't want to enter in here, as here we have a, there's no, I call it like a grease. This should be a straight line here. And now this looks good. Not sure if we need that one. Let's see. Okay. What about the feet? They seem a little bit lame. Do you want to get in more? Few more details to make our lives more complicated afterwards for the cleanup. Atrip in the house. Hello, my friend. Nice. Welcome to episode 18. Look what we've got so far for today. Oh, that seems like too much detail. And it doesn't really look like a shoe. Those damn shoes already causing me trouble. Oh, this looks like a clown shoe. And here we want to bring in so Adrib, how has your week been going? Are you ready for the weekend? I surely am. So here, I don't know, this is a lot of lines that we have to get in for every pose, and on this animation there are definitely gonna be more feet poses than hand poses, so probably want to be careful with that. And I feel like we want to twist the shoe a little bit more. I feel like we want to see more of the upper side. So let's see. Mm-hmm. Fishing pole, fishing pole. Thanks, Jack. All right. So I take your word, as I wasn't really sure if this is something I keep in, but yeah, I think it works. Okay, now let's see how we can get the perspective right. Now I just gonna, as I said before, let's try simple geometric shapes to actually get an idea how the foot would be visible. And it's, I think the problem is as well the leg. Try out something. Okay. Okay. Perspective is not right yet. Still struggling, and I haven't reached a point where you suddenly you see it, and then it's like, ah, right, okay, that's the correct angle, that's the perspective that I'm having in mind. So that, that looks more like a, if you already see what I see where this is going, this looks more like a kind of a jump. I really like the pose. But I suppose it could work like this. I don't know if any opinions on that, and if you can follow through my idea behind it, like really changing the way the foot would or the leg would bend behind his body. Let's try to push it a little bit further, or not push it further, but refine it a little bit and see if this is actually a way we could go. Maybe this is like a too extreme pose, something in between the one that you still see here, like bending it this way and bending this way. Maybe there's just some kind of a in-between solution, because I'm not really sure if this would work as a... Yeah, I think this is too much, but I definitely like the pose. Just want to work it out a little bit, and save it just for the... I don't know, who knows. Yeah, now he's probably too close to the belt here that you actually can read it as a run, so he's not lifted. So yeah, I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna save a copy, and gonna see... Oh look, we don't... let's see, we save it, and then we duplicate the layer, so we have a backup. Mostly I don't ever use... Oh, I mostly don't use those backups. So I save layers and layers just in case I have to get back to them, but then after a while I realize I have several layers that are all toggled off, so I basically can delete them, as I haven't used any of them for a long time, and really getting back to those... Well, as we already have it, why not play? I want to close this, but here's for all of you who haven't seen what we've done in previous episodes. It's not finished yet. I have a little bit of a plan for this shot, and once it's published, you're gonna see what I actually want to do here. So this is this one. I don't want to save this. Look here, for all of you who use KRITA, have experience with it. I'm fairly new to this. I use it like for 3 weeks now. So you see here the name of my KRITA file. It's just this one. I just wanted to close it, and he asked me the document number 10 has been modified. And he refers to this file because I already had this, and I thought he's referring to another one. So I said, no, the 10 I don't want to save, but it was actually this file. So there's a kind of a bug. Does anybody have the same problem or had the same problem? And I think the weirdest thing is it's only happening to this project. So this is our character we developed on Wednesday during the stream from scratch. I'm just want to show how... Oh man, let's try to get this a little bit bigger here to show you how this started off. We started off with this very simple geometric shapes. And from there on, developed this character. And that's basically what I'm always doing when I draw heads. I start off with 3 geometric shapes, compose them in some way, and then I draw on top of it a head. So this is our Tiger King Sam, and I love it. I really do. This last stream was a total blast. This one today is even more blasting as we get. Now, come on, do it. Oh no, not that. So, okay, this one. So, close it. And now look at this beauty. So yeah, what we're gonna do, we wanted to try to achieve a kind of a middle thing. Let's see, I'm gonna draw it beside, just so maybe want it to be curved, not even to be curved. Let's see, how would that look like? So here's our probably some foreshortening here. And this one overlaps as the knee goes here. So we would see some part of this here and probably from that side. Would that be, that could be good. Okay, now let's just take advantage of all this. Okay, thanks Jack for clearing that up. So apparently it is kind of a bug. So if I put in, now I scaled it up, I want to adjust it a little bit as it's too big. So let's see. Want to brighten this up a little bit. Let's run this up a little bit as we want to have a kind of a. It's difficult now because he's more in the distance, so the tapering would be less, but still feels okay. All right. So now I get rid of this. I don't erase it. I just delete it because I feel if not, it's getting too cluttered here and I don't actually see what is going on. So now this looks interesting. I don't have a rubber hose though. Like that was one thing we wanted to have. But I suppose with the knee, we already bent this concept. No pun intended. But you see, it helps to work out maybe first as it was more with joints, and then I feel like I want it a little bit less bent. See, Now from close it looks weird. I have to get away from it. Now it's too short. Mm-hmm. Still not really convinced. It feels correct, like from perspective wise, but it feels as well less exaggerated in when maybe this pose makes it less cartoony afterwards, and I really imagine a quite cartoony run cycle here. Okay, so now we erase the square shape, and now we put in our shoe into the square, which is pretty good to actually just to get the right perspective. So okay. Now you see what I mean. Now this looks like his legs were not that widely spread, and I think I like that as he goes into the air, and the legs are just shooting up and spread as wide as they can. Well, not as wide as they can, but pretty wide. And I think now I'm getting more of a result that I kind of have in mind. Any opinions on that? How are you folks out there? What are you thinking? No, I want to see if I... That may be too much. But just a little touch. I could imagine like this actually will change a little bit once we start to animate it. Because maybe within, I don't know. Now it's looking weird again. Let's see, probably pushed it too far out. Here, I'm gonna go as far as the software allows it. Nah. Okay. No more undo available. So let's get it back bit by bit. Let's see if on the way back we find a better solution or closer to what I was looking for. Not just a little bit off, and I not wanna see what it is. Ooh. A little bit more curvy here. I think that's fairly, I don't know. I would give it a rest here and then see, because here's something off. I think this part should be a little bit longer, or there's something not, something is not really in place. Let's make this a little bit longer. See how this works. And I feel like now we don't have that much foreshortening. The tapering could be, it's actually helping the tapering a little bit. And now we just want to get the perspective right, and that means like the overlapping lines are now very critical to what I want to achieve. And to be honest, I'm not really sure if I'm already right, or what if I put it like this? It feels better. So so now I feel we could bring the knee a little bit more. Okay, now this is, here I have more tapering here, as this is wider compared to this part, but you could also explain it, I don't know exactly, like as the foot is coming a little bit closer towards to us, that may be the effect. Let's see if I just put in more tapering here, how far I can get. Yeah, I think that's better. This is gonna be interesting to animate that, to be honest. Especially as we have kind of, before we did the walk cycle, we were just looking from the side. So no elements in the walk cycle we did before came closer to the camera or further away from the camera during the walk cycle. Here we have that kind of effect, and as you can see, we will definitely have to get some guides here and to define where our perspective points will be. Like they were, yeah. Then it's not that extreme. There will probably be some kind of here. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, definitely. And I would say we keep that for the next episode. Put save. I'm gonna put this on the big screen so you all can see what we've got today. And I'm really happy with that result from where we started without any plan. And it was basically, again, our warm-up drawing evolving into quite a cool idea, concept, and definitely a new challenge. As I said before, I'm quite familiar with basic walk cycles, and I did changes and experimentations with walk cycles, so I'm feeling quite safe on walk cycles to a certain point, which could always be pushed with perspective and all that kind of stuff. But never did a run cycle, so I suppose the stretch is not that far away from the walk cycle, but there are definitely gonna be certain things that are different and we will have to figure out. But I'm totally looking forward to it because as I'm imagining, like if we get the animation as I'm imagining this is gonna be fun. And there is a lot of stuff going on. We could have his, like, this is gonna be a lot of bouncing, I suppose. So the hands are gonna bounce up and down. This one is gonna go up and down. His head probably will go up and down. And this will all be supposedly offsetted because the head is quite closely attached to our principal, like our major volume here. So it's not gonna bounce too much. The hands are already further away from it, which gonna give it a more bounce. And this thing here probably gonna go nuts as this element and the fishing pole. Have you did you see how I had to squint over to the chat and look again how this thing is called? So this fishing pole is gonna move quite bouncy, and this thing should act quite differently as it is very a light element. So there's definitely a lot of stuff we will have to figure out. But I'm so looking forward to it. So that's a good way to start the weekend, I suppose. As Monday we will do our next streaming, and I'm already looking forward to Monday. All right, I would call it a day. I'm happy what we achieved today. I'll thank you for joining. Very happy this community is getting bigger and bigger, bit by bit. And it's fun. So thanks a lot for joining. Have a great weekend. Have a great time, and hopefully see you on Monday. Have a good one. Bye. Oh, here I am again. If sometimes I have to do it. If you watch it until this moment and you haven't subscribed yet, just give it a try, maybe give it a like, give it all that kind of stuff, because it helps out. It really does. So thanks a lot. Have a great weekend. Bye.